So recently, Annie Macaulay Idibia had some things to say online about her marriage to the legendary Tuface, and what she had to say wasn't really very pleasant, and it got some feathers really ruffled. Many people had to say their take on what she did and what she said, and so much reports have really come from that. But I just want to share something with you right now. Listen, there is so much that happen in marriages that except you are involved, like you are really in this marriage, you may not know everything that is happening. You may not know everything that is going on. You may not really know the emotions that get to really boil in the marriages. Now let me tell you this: there are just two persons involved in every marriage. So it's just the husband and the wife. They are the ones who know what is happening in their marriages, in their marriage, and they're the ones who know what direction they want their marriage to go, and they're ones, just these two persons and whoever they wish to bring into their marital affairs, maybe a counselor or a therapist, have a right to to say whatever they have in such a marriage affair. So if you are not Two-Face and you are not Annie Idibia, I don't think you have anything to say. No matter how close you think you are to, even if you're a twin brother to one of the spouses, you don't have any such right to, to comment on the conduct of anyone when it comes to their marriage. So, having said that, this is what you should do about marriage affairs. Whenever things like this come up, you should look at what has happened. Try the best you can to get as much information as you can get about what has happened. And when you have that done, it is not for you to begin to advise them or say they should do this or they should do this or they should go about it this way. I think it is the reason you are getting all this information is for you to be able to help yourself in your own marriage, in your own relationship, in your own life. So how has what's happened between Annie Idibia and her husband benefited you? What have you learned from it? What have you gained from what has just happened? What have you learned? You should be able to learn the lessons, but because it will really be unwise that you go through everything that has happened and you get all the information, you get to share your opinion, and you've not learned anything from it. It has not helped you to better your own life in any way. Then the experience is useless. Everything that has happened, and I'm just thinking that about this marriage thing. Listen, marriage is a conversation between two persons. So if I'm married to my wife, so our marriage has been a conversation from day one. Me trying to pass some information across to her, she trying to pass some information across to me. So it is an ongoing conversation. When you lose that conversation, you are beginning to lose the person. So many times, people are trying to communicate with their spouses. You're trying to tell your wife something, and you're trying to tell your husband something, and it just seems like they are not listening. Especially for the women, they're just trying to communicate. So, whenever my wife has an outburst, she really does. But whenever she does, I want to listen. You know why? Because she must have been trying to communicate this in many ways that I have not heard her out. So whenever a woman is trying to talk, she keeps on saying these things over and over again. Then you should pay attention. You should listen to her. You should hear what she is trying to communicate, and see how you can work on that. Because many times what happens is that before there is that outburst, she has tried everything she can to communicate this one information to you. She has tried talking softly, she has tried talking through people, she has tried everything she can, but it just seems like you're not listening. So now she's left with the option of looking for every means to make you listen, every means to get your attention to listen. That is just how it goes. I have a friend who once told me that at one point she had to tell her husband that she wanted a divorce. For her, she has tried to communicate what has been happening in their marriage for a very long time, but he just seemed not to give a damn about it. He just seemed not to be listening. And she's wondering, like, why is he not listening? So she has tried every means she could to communicate this, and nothing has worked. So she said, okay, maybe I should let him know that it has gotten to the point where I will have to ask for a divorce. She said she knew him. She knew the man she married. She knew that divorce wasn't a thing for him. That is the last thing he would want for himself. So she knew that he will not want a divorce, and he will do everything he can to avoid a divorce. So she said that she wanted a divorce. That was just her own way of getting his attention. I'm not saying that you should go and try that with your husband, but for her, that was her own way of getting his attention. That was how she was able to get him to pay attention and work on their marriage. Now, after some time, I said, okay, what if you risk this and you said, okay, now I want a divorce? And he accepted and said, okay, me too, I'm fed up. Also want a divorce. What is going to happen? She said that she will have a divorce because before she got to that point where she is asking for this divorce, she was done. She was ready for anything. So I think that's just exactly how it goes. That now, before they come up to that point where they are telling you, I'm ready to risk anything, they must have had it up to here. It's already suffocating them. Now they have to do everything they can to make you pay attention. But you don't have to wait till she gets to that point where she's ready to do just virtually anything to make you pay attention. Do you think a woman will just wake up and want to put her marriage on social media? A woman who values her own privacy, and a woman who has lived all these years without doing anything like that, a woman who has a reputation to protect, will just go to that extent of sharing such an information if it has not been suffocating her and she has been trying to communicate this in every way she could. So this woman has tried to communicate this thing every other way, and nothing has seems to work. And now she just thinks, okay, what else can I do? How can I get this guy to pay attention? Maybe I should just do this. And she goes ahead and she does it. I think it will be very unwise to look at what she has done without looking at her motive of doing that. She's just trying to get your attention. But for me, I've made up my mind that before it gets to that point where she will begin to go to the extreme to get my attention, I should be able to slow down and listen. I know when she really wants my attention, when she's communicating something that I've not understood for a long time, when she keeps trying to get my attention to let me know that I am hurting her. She's crying. She said, "Are you hurting me? Stop this. You're hurting me." She has said it in so many ways, and you don't want to listen. Now she said, "Okay, no problem. Now, since everything I have done hitherto have not gotten your attention, I think I'm going to hit you hard. I'm going to do this, and I think this is the only way I'm going to get your attention." So I think you should just pay attention, get the information she is trying to share, then work on it, and your marriage will keep getting better. Thank you.